Good Tuesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs, the motorcycles, the camper, the pool. Hey Kiefer, the dogs. Where are the dogs? You know what? I'm just changing it up. The constant fight for the dogs. So I'm just leaving the dogs in the house because the kid comes out. She comes out a little later than me, so she needs to bring the dogs out. You know what? And that way, Kiefer just kind of is on his own. When Kiefer's by himself, he's just a whole different dog. People know those stories, right? So, wow. The pool was taken down yesterday. If you're watching my channel, you see you got it dismantled and getting creative on the base. And, wow. Hey, good Tuesday morning there to all those people that watch my channel. Thanks, as always, for tuning in to watch the antics, watch the attitudes, the views, the thoughts, the goofiness. Yeah, I know. But once again, thanks for watching and support my channel. With a collection of vehicles. It just never ends. And yesterday was the secrets conversation. Well, it's really humid up here. This is one of these typical, like, it feels like it's August. It feels like it's Florida because it's like a sauna. So it's not real hot out, but it's the air is so thick and you're just like, you're sweating just standing around. I mean, I literally have my shorts on, my Crocs on. And it's that time of the year where it's the change of seasons here for the warmer weather. But yesterday was the conversation of secrets. And I thought to myself today, you know, what could we talk about? It's always me trying to get creative and taking a word and talking to you to something that may intrigue you, relate to you, whatever it may be. And so I thought today, how about the remember? You remember, that's going to be the word of the day. Remember so many years ago when you were a kid. Remember so many years ago when you got your first car. Remember so many years ago when you had your first love. I mean, do you remember all those things? Isn't that something? You know what intrigues me? I swear today, the younger generation can't remember a damn thing. Anybody noticing this? I mean, maybe it's just me, but I swear the younger generation can't remember a damn thing. And why is that? I think it's because of all these damn devices. I mean, I have a hard time remembering things. And as you progress, it even gets worse. I mean, as you get older in life, does it just get really bad? It's like your brain's like a computer and it's just overrun with too much information. Yes, I truly think it's the information overload. Who doesn't have something going on in the future that the wife or the husband or your friend reminds you that you have a commitment and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. Yes, it goes on all the time. So how do you take the remember with the car conversations, right, Mr. Iceman? How do you do that to entertain your customer base? Customer base? Or your subscriber base? Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, so the cars today, if you have a key fob, they have a remember you, because if you have one key fob versus another key fob, the one key fob, if you have settings on your vehicle, the odds are when you walk out with that correct key fob, because you may share your key fobs if you're married or whatever it may be, in that vehicle tends to do the things you want it to do from the settings. I just love this Ram truck. I really do. I'm blown away. Well, that's funny. There's the old seal for the fuel filter on the Ram truck. I just love the Ram TRX. What's that all about? And yesterday, I bought a ton of accessories, and they're still in the vehicle. So, maybe watch my channel. I never got them all out of the back of that truck, because where am I going to put them? Besides, I need to put them on my frickin' Honda Talon and start accessorizing it. And I got a great deal. Mike out there at Timber Honda, he's such a great guy, and he took really good care of me. I mean, he basically sold me everything for cost. I buy so much stuff from Timber Honda, and he gets all that, and I'm not embellishing here, so he goes out of his way to let me have stuff just to take care of the Iceman, which is so nice of him. And yeah, am I going back to Timber Honda again today? I am. And what am I getting, what am I up to today, right? I can't go somewhere to a car dealership, motorcycle dealership, whatever it may be, and go in and then not leave without something else new in my back pocket, or new that I'm riding or driving or whatever it may be. It just doesn't end. Do you remember that? But yeah, so the cars, all these vehicles today with all the technology, they have memories on them, so they remember the way you want that vehicle to be set up to make you happy on how you drive it, the settings, like the seat settings, that's a big thing. So, drinking my coffee, just so you know, if I kind of slow down and I'm not, that drives me nuts. I go places, I go for, that's the thing. Remember, I was out in Florida, and I paid for registrations on a lot of my Florida vehicles, and now I'm looking for the registrations that I paid for, and I can't find them. And I'm literally having to buy them again, because I don't know what I did with some of them. It just drives you nuts. Does it drive you nutty when you can't remember something? You put something somewhere, and like your keys. I mean, what's the most famous thing related to a car besides the fact, I mean, sincerely, what is the biggest challenge with cars and keys? Yeah, who makes a huge living out of people locking their keys in their car, people losing their keys? Yeah, who doesn't know these stories? Joe, that used to work for me, it was a constant challenge of him losing his key to his FJ Cruiser Toyota. There was a constant challenge of him being late to work because he couldn't find his keys. And he even lost his one set of keys, and any more, that's a $300 to $500 bill if you lose your key fob. Just new technology cars, yeah. I mean, that's factual. That's you got to take the car to the dealership. But anyways, yeah, you forget. So the memories, yeah, I know I'm stuttering. The memory seat, I think, is one of the nicest features in a car that remembers you if you have that feature. And it's very interesting in how all the different trim levels of all these different vehicles, you would think when you pay $64,000 for a Ford Bronco Wildtrak, it'd have a memory seat feature. It doesn't. It's a whole different level of you having to order extra on this car. Because if my daughter drives this vehicle, and versus I drive the vehicle, it's a pain in the butt because I have to reset the seat and the mirrors to what makes me happy. But then after I drive it, and she wants to drive it, it's the same thing for her. And so, but like the Ram truck, it has, the Ram truck over here, it has the memory seat, so it remembers when you get in and out of the truck what you want it to be for all your mirrors and settings. Not the rear view mirror on the windshield. They never have perfected that. You always still have to finagle that. There is the kid looking for something. She probably lost something. Yeah, who doesn't know this? You go to work, you forgot to bring something to you with work. I mean, it's infinite on the remember conversations for everybody here watch my channel. Everybody can relate with when you've lost something, you forgot to do something. I mean, in some ways it's very sad. People have burned down their houses. People have burned down their camper RVs. People, sadly, which is really very sad, is left their child in the back seat of a car. And sadly, that child perished from the parent being so fixated on something else that they didn't remember they had the child in the back seat. Yeah, I mean, just devastating. Where now today's newer cars have a rear child alert when you get out of the car to remind you to check the back seat, which that's a great idea. Yeah, so we remember the good old days. I mean, it isn't always the story of the good old days, but yet in some ways today is the good old days, because eventually in the future you'll look back at all these things that you had or didn't have, and as you progress, then you'll relate with your life of the remembering the good old days, even though they probably were challenging at that time. This is so funny. Here I'm telling everybody it's humid as all get out. Where's the other dogs? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is so funny. So it's humid as all get out, and my daughter's dressed up like it's winter. Are you cold? You're funny. I mean, to me, it's hot and humid as all get out. Are those my old pants or those new pants? They say they unzip. Do you know that? They unzip and turn into shorts. Oh, my goodness gracious. So then for us all growing up, if you're a parent, you got a kid, can you remember when your child was young and you're getting them going in life? Who doesn't know those stories? I mean, it's always about remember. But, you think to yourself about the car industry and what's going on in the industry. It's just so incredible how it's a constant conversation of the EV age, the ICE age, because it's the competition. I mean, in my view, it's the competition of the EV age trying to take away the ICE age. And I just think that people can relate so much. They can remember so many stories of being told things that never played out. I mean, who doesn't know that? I mean, sincerely. And for me, I have real life experiences. And what I can give you an example of, as I've talked to you about how years ago I knew the Dos Equis man, Jonathan Goldsmith, who was a waterless car wash distributor for Envirotech International out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Rod Yank, the founder, CEO. And back in 1992, 93, I used to drive around showing a car care product called Dry Washing Guard, where this product was a liquid product, and you could use 2 to 6 ounces of fluid and spray it on a vehicle, and you could clean a dirty vehicle to make it clean and waxed. And so back in that time, I was in the oil industry right before I left that to do that gig full time, which was a hard lesson in life. But I grew up. I definitely grew up after going from working in the oil industry to being all by myself and having no income unless I sold a bottle of this car wash stuff. Wash. I know people say, is it W-A-R? I guess it's the Jersey accent. I don't know. I have that the wash. So that was a very challenging time in my life, and I just about lost this property during that transition of being employed for somebody else and then working on my own and having no income unless I sold bottles of this car care product. I had to detail people's cars. I was knocking on realtors' doors. I was going up in the parking lot to anybody that would let me show them the product, to try to sell the product, to sign them up as a distributor. It was very challenging, very depressing in very many ways, because I worked my ass off, but yet the returns weren't so great. Yeah, it kind of sounds like my YouTube channel, in all sincereness to you. Worked my ass off, but the returns aren't so great. I mean, yeah, this kind of brings back memories of what I did and sacrificed everything just to try to create a new avenue of life that never played out. But here's the thing: when I was in the oil industry, the focal point was Environmental Protection Agency was going around and was creating new laws and mandates of underground fuel storage. So for the industry I was in, we were seeing a loss of customer base because the plumber guy, the construction guys, there's so many different avenues of people back in the day used to have their own fuel storage for their business. Car dealerships, big moving companies, they all had their own underground fuel tanks, but the EPA got so strict on the guidelines of having to rip everything out and put in new technology. A lot of these customers came to closure just to go to the gas station and buy fuel because it was too much of a liability. It would be huge. I mean, I'm not embellishing here. Back in 1980, I think it was the summer of 87, we had a fuel tanker truck flip about 30 miles from where I am, my house, in the middle of summer on a hot day. One of my tanker drivers was driving down the road, and it started downpouring rain, mid-afternoon thunderstorm, and the air brakes locked up in the truck. It rolled it into a field. Nobody was injured, but the truck spilled out probably about 200 gallons of fuel into this just empty field down off the road. And so back in 1987, I'm not embellishing here, that was like $500,000. It was like $500,000. It may have been $700,000 cleanup of that contamination of that fuel. Just back in 1987, because they had to dig up all the dirt. They had to haul it to Pennsylvania to burn it, and they had to recondition the whole area around it where the oil spread. And so wow. So that scared a lot of the people that owned their own underground fuel tanks. So they got rid of them. So, because Environmental Protection Agency. Well, with that came the fear of some of my other salespeople that their jobs were in jeopardy of the future of making commission sales off of selling fuel to all these underground fuel storage that was starting to disappear, slowly over time. So that industry was totally changing. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is it was all about the environment. It was all about the water. And so Rod Yank, Jonathan Goldsmith, their whole mission with Envirotech International was focused on water. They were on the page that the waste of water being used on vehicles, if you look at the industry of people cleaning their car, cleaning their truck, cleaning their camper, cleaning all these different vehicles. It's the amount of waste of clean, fresh water was huge. So their position was that the future of clean water would be in jeopardy if we didn't figure out a better way on how to take care of the cars. I mean, this is true. That was a presentation if you went to a meeting for you to think about becoming a distributor to sell a car care product that would help the environment, because you're now not using water, you're using a spray-on liquid to clean and wax your car. And it was a phenomenal product. I mean, it really was a nice product. But the concept of it was just too early for so many people to believe you could spray over a dirty car with a liquid and clean it and not scratch the paint. That was very challenging. But the point is, I can remember so well on how the base, it was really so close to the green agenda of today, of the carbon dioxide coming out of these cars. Because back in the 90s, there was just so much rhetoric about the history and the future of the world would have major water issues. That the Mother Nature Earth was going to be drier, that over in a lot of these third world countries, Middle East, they would have huge droughts, and water would be there'd be wars over water. That was exactly what was talked about back in the early 90s. In the late 90s, there would be wars over water. And I do know out there in the West, in California, Colorado River, there are in some ways wars over the water. But here's the point I'm trying to get to on remembering on how that was such a driving force of so many people being involved in this new car care product that they thought could revolutionize the way people take care of their cars, clean them, which it never really panned out because it just was too much resistance, too much work. And you know today that there's so many car washes today that recycle water and they don't have contamination, and it's much more, it's just easier to take your car to a car wash. You just want to get it clean, unless you're some car fanatic that doesn't even want to touch your car. So here we are, fast forward 30 years. I mean, sincerely, it's 30 years. And what's going on? There's flooding throughout the world like never seen. Yes, there's flooding going on over there in the Middle East, if you're watching the news, and even here stateside. So there's a major problem. There's too much rain. There's too much water. But yet I was being told 30 years ago that it would be the opposite. And that's why as you progress in life, when you hear these scientists, you hear the green agenda, telling you and I what the future is going to be because of these vehicles, you just if you're around long enough, you question that position. You question the dynamics of all these so-called experts. I mean, think it through. For the average scientist, human being, by the time they get to the level of understanding life, they've mastered their degrees, and they've gone through the challenges of life. They've maybe been in their industry 20 years. So you take a 40-year-old guy that is the so-called expert scientist. You can even take a 50-year-old guy that's a so-called expert scientist that knows all the answers to Mother Nature Earth. It's like, man, you've really only have kind of come to that level of life in the last 20, 30 years. For Mother Nature Earth, 20, 30 years is nothing. It's nothing in how long this Earth has been here, and the different dynamics of what's played out on the shift of the way this Earth has been. So you just think to yourself, well, yeah, so now you're going to tell me? You're telling me? But the green agenda activists, they get all heck bent, and they think that these people have the answers. And I think most here on my channel will say they don't. They don't have the answers. It's a money grab. It's a power grab. It's the Chinese that dominate the electric battery infrastructure of the whole world. It's the big mineral mines that aren't here stateside that have key raw materials to make electric things that are dominating the world markets and controlling in some ways the future of what mankind evolves to with renewable energy, which is extremely challenging. And as always, Elon Musk is the guy pounding the fist, more electric vehicles. I mean, Elon Musk is the guy that will tell you all day long that the electric vehicles is the answer to the future of transportation. And why would he say that? Because the guy said his major whole life involved in bringing electric vehicles to the marketplace. You know, but it's, in so many ways, it's true, but at the same time, it's not. Because Elon Musk has copied China. I mean, for the record, China, in so many ways, came along with electric vehicles before Elon Musk did. But stateside, you're just not going to hear how the Chinese have, you just don't hear, it's like anything. Why does this country always want to cater to the Chinese? I mean, why? Why do they want to do that, right? So for the Chinese, they've had incredible failure, an incredible amount of failure with the electric vehicle manufacturing. Here's the town. Everything's kind of locked in. You see what I did? I tried to kind of keep that thing locked in back here so we get some crazy ideas. They come and think they can have a little fun with it, right? So what I'm saying to you right now is, for me, I can so well remember being told what the future would be, but yet nobody can remember what they were told in so many ways. I mean, if you look at what's going on in our country, I mean, how many people, I mean, I can so well remember the summer of 2020 being told by the media machine that this one guy in office has destroyed this country. Yes, I mean, does anybody remember the conversation of the media and on how one guy created the havoc of this country, and that somebody else will come along and they're going to make it better? Does anybody remember that? I mean, do people really remember the language that you were being told, that by getting rid of the LEO, society would be better? The community LEO, the community police, would be the better choice for the inner cities to get rid of their problems, because the police are mean and devious people, and they've done too much harm to the inner cities, and they need to be removed, and they need to be defunded. And now, what's very interesting in that is, once the movement got in office, they created new laws. They brought in new district attorneys, and they rewrote the laws so that crime that used to be reported is no longer crime to be reported. So what you'll hear today is that the crime is down in this country. No, the reporting of crime is down in this country because the laws have been changed on what is considered a crime. That's all that's changed. But to think that the cities are safer because there's less police officers in the cities, that's the stupidest thing in the world. To think that you believe that, you're a fool. You're truly a fool. Why do you think so many people are moving out of the cities? I mean, why is the housing market so challenged? Because people want to get out of these inner cities. They see what the governing bodies are doing to them and to the cities. But does anybody remember that? Does anybody, I think most people in my channel or on the page remember these remarks by the sitting powers to be that are in power today, that convinced so many that this country would be better off under their guidelines and policies. We've talked about this many times. With the Ice Age, I truly believe, look at that, got the EV Age tag, whippy-doo-dah, right? You traitor. Traitor. We all, I think, firmly believe that the Ice Age is being sacrificed for the EV Age, meaning that all the pricing in all these ICE vehicles has risen substantially in order for the manufacturers to be able to have the extra monies to convert to the EV Age. I mean, if you don't believe that, I think, once again, you're a fool. Yes, so under the sitting administration, the Build Back Better, remember, the Build Back Better, remember, the Build Back More Expensive is everything around us. Everything around us is more expensive. The barrel of oil is really on the verge of being crazy numbers, because over there in the Middle East, Israel is they're pushing it to the max. I mean, Israel right now is definitely pushing, they're going, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because it just gets too political, and it's just a waste of time for me to go down that rabbit hole. But the point is anybody remember all of the destruction of our country, and that the newer people would come in, would make this such a nicer country. It would be such a more diplomatic country. But yet, we're now in wars in the world. And we now have on our own turf other individuals that aren't happy with this country that is funding wars in the Middle East. Yes, I mean, very, very, very challenging times. But does anyone remember that supposedly the guy that was in charge before would be a dangerous individual that would nuke other countries and put us in wars? But here we are sitting right now on just very tense times of what could play out in this country, of what there's such opposition. And there's so many of the community that now live in our country that aren't supporting what this country's doing, which what does that in the end result, create? Yeah, I mean, people that have been around longer than me, sadly, a lot of people that were in the World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, sadly, many of those people have passed. But if they were here today, they could honestly probably tell you what we are seeing in front of our eyes. They would say, I can remember a time when I didn't believe something would play out, and it did. Yes. But so many now, I think that, nah, I mean, what's the big deal? The more the focus is TikTok. I mean, where the focus is that there's a guy named Donald Trump sitting in court every day that it's got a gag order on him. I mean, the media is more focused on TikTok. Woe's me, TikTok. If another TikToker can't get up this morning, do jumping jacks, swim across the pond with an alligator in it, and then run on the shore and do a dance routine and post it on TikTok, and that guy will pick up, or gal will pick up, thousands of views and maybe subscribers instantly. But we're concerned about TikTok's future, even though the Chinese are doing devious things with TikTok. But no, people say that's not right. That's just a bunch of malarkey. It's a bunch of baloney. But yet this generation, I mean, anybody on my channel, I don't know. I mean, sincerely, this is by no means wanting to call out the younger generation. But for the record, does it seem like people of the younger age don't remember as much as we may be doing at our age? I mean, for a fact, you and I could remember every phone number of our friend. You just pick up the phone and dial a phone number. I'd love to see a kid call a phone number, not a contact name. I'd love to see how many kids can remember the phone numbers of all their friends, right? And don't take it the wrong way. I'm just trying to throw out a conversation here, and maybe it gets you a little irked and you weigh in. I don't know. And that's the key to what's going on. So George P., he sent me a video of the famous engineer guy, Terry, I guess that's his name. I don't follow the guy, so I don't really know him. But he sent me a video of this gentleman, really well known for being the guy, the crash. I guess he's part of the crashes, the cars, how they're developed, engineered. And once again, my apologies, George, if I'm not telling everybody exactly the way it is. But I watched your video at like 2 in the morning, and I went back to sleep. But anyways, his position is that... his position right now is, what drives the media machine? It's the fear factor. It's the fear factor. That's what drives today's society. And how many times on my YouTube channel have I said to everybody, look at my channel versus what other channels are, and it just befuddles me, and I get it. I'm not here to complain and cry or whine. I'm just sharing information that intrigues me, that the fear factor videos are the most dominant hit videos. So the society that we live in this country, surely I have to say that most people are living in fear. Would you agree with that? I mean, I think that really most people deep down are fearful of what's to come to be. But they can't remember the promises that they were told. So when it comes time for change, can they remember? Can they remember? No, what they're going to remember is that a guy sitting in court today was going to be the guy that created wars. Remember this now. Just think this through. Remember, the sitting administration told everybody that the guy that's sitting in court today, he would be the guy to get us in major world wars. He'd be the guy that would enrich major companies to make record profits never seen in modern times. He'd be the guy that would have violence in the streets that we haven't seen in modern times. Well, if you go to the colleges, I think that this is something that's starting to raise a lot of eyebrows of what's going on in this country, of resistance and violence. You heard that, it's interesting. They didn't talk too much about illegal immigration, or did they? I'm not really sure on that. Did the sitting powers to be call out? I think they called them out on not being fair on immigration, if I remember right. So now this sitting administration, on your tax dollars, what you contribute to this country's tax dollars is using your tax dollars to handle the immigration policies and issues what they feel is appropriate, right? I mean, you know, how long can I go on talking about, do you remember? Do you remember? Yeah, do you remember when you used to go to a car dealership and you get a big discount off something? Well, that is kind of coming back again. But at the same time, it's really incredible. So Tim Brook Honda, those guys sold 7 units on Friday. They sold 5 units on Saturday. I was out there yesterday, and they sold a few more yesterday. I mean, it doesn't end. But yet, you know, I talk about all the time, so many out there will tell you that you need to remember on how 2007, 8, 9, the financial crisis that came to this country and the car industry collapsed. Many YouTubers are predicting that is going to play out all over again. They're trying to get people to remember that, hey, remember that when the car industry totally sank and tanked? I don't know. I'm not the prophet. I don't know. All I know is for all the people I deal with, none of them have told me that it's dire straits. And I have such good friends in the car industry. I can honestly tell you that they would be very upfront with me and sincere. They would say, hey, Iceman, you know, we're in bad shape. We're in such bad shape. We're going to let go of people. We're in such bad shape. We're not ordering inventory like we used to. We're in such bad shape. We just can't get the banks to buy the deals anymore. I mean, they would tell me that. And I'm not really hearing that message in my travels of where I go in Florida. And then when I drive around the neighborhood here in my own backyard, I can remember so many years ago when houses would go up for sale and they'd never sell. I do remember that. That was back in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, when lights turned off. Right now, that doesn't happen. Right now, the housing market in this area is incredibly strong. Yes, a house goes on the market, and for the most part, it sells very quickly. But people then talk about, well, remember those 2% interest rates? Then people talk about, remember when gas got down to $1.99 a gallon? It's like, yeah, but that was during the pandemic. It was back when nobody was driving their cars, and that's the whole point. Does anybody remember when people actually had to go to work? Does anybody remember that? I'm on the roads every day of my life. And it's like, there's so many people that remotely work now. There's so many people that are retired now. The roads just have people on the roads because they're bored and they just want to go somewhere and go do something. And that's just, you know, that's just because they want something to do. And what usually kind of equates with something to do with so many is getting in a vehicle and going somewhere. Yeah, who doesn't know those stories? I remember so well my dad telling me so many years ago, one of the elders of his church, his name was George, real character of a guy, older guy, and he would literally get up in the morning, just get in his car and start driving around. That was something for him to do. That was his activity. I've heard these stories over and over again. I know there's this one guy years ago that was on a motorcycle forum. This guy's goal, I'm not lying to you, this is in the Harley Davidson forum. This guy's goal was to get out of bed every day. He was retired and ride his motorcycle 150 or 200 miles every day. That was his goal. Just to get on his motorcycle and ride 150, 200 miles every day. You know, rain, he didn't care. He just wanted to ride his motorcycle. That was his activity. Yeah, who can remember the first time they drove their first car and had to clutch it? Yeah, how'd that play out, right? As you stalled it? Yeah, I'd be amazed. Maybe he said, oh, no, I got in that car and I drove that truck or car and I didn't stall it. Yeah, right. All right, you know what? I got to get going. I got a little late start this morning. And I got to get going. And the birds, remember the birds? Yeah, right. Yeah, have I gone to the birds? I've gone to the birds. What's the kid doing? Let's get upstairs in the office. Let's check things out and get the day going. And then for you guys that watch my channel, you know, are you going to remember what I'm doing today? Do you remember from yesterday where I shared with you a video that I'm at Tim Brook Honda? And I'm going to surprise you today because the thing that I'm going to buy, here's the pool, yeah, pretty nasty base. But I came up with a creative idea where I can use that as a good cover, the bottom base for that new pool. It's supposed to be delivered today. Anyways, I'm going to get the fan on. Boy, it's muggy in here. Yeah, so you couldn't see anything yesterday because they didn't have the thing that I wanted. And the irony is, I really went to Tim Brook Honda on Saturday to get what I really wanted, and they didn't have one. And then they figured out yesterday that their other dealer does have one. That's on the fan. It's just humid, hot, and so yeah, it's another Honda Day adventure. Which you have to stay tuned for that. And yeah, oh my gosh, goodness. All right, kid, you okay? Yes. Ice Age TV, nobody's reached out for a sticker. I was watching Cletus McFarland this morning. He's funny, and that guy's funny. He's funny. He's got a heck of a channel. I mean, he's what's the famous stunt guy, the Dave guy? He's dressed up in that funny outfit with all the stars on the helmet, the stars on the whole suit. I'm trying to remember the name of that character. That was a stuntman guy that used to be really funny and do these antics and all these stunts. And he's dressed up in a race car driver's suit, but it's all, the American flag, stars, stripes. And Cletus McFarland this morning, he's got Freedom May. So Freedom May, so they're making some new car, but he's doing burnouts in this old Ford LTD, whatever, old Ford police cruiser, and he's just doing burnouts for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. I mean, it is funny. He's funny, no doubt. And they're giving away turbochargers. So if you watch his channel, Cletus McFarland, I mean, sincerely, when you watch my channel, you should go check it out. You get a lot of entertainment out of his channel. You're not going to hear him griping about how many subscribers he has. The guy has like 1 million subscribers. The guy probably makes $100,000 a month, would be my guess. And he's got sponsors, but he's creative because he gives stuff away. So apparently, if you're following him and you need a turbo, they have like a whole assortment of turbos, and you want to maybe get a free turbo, yeah, you go. And that's what he does. He's smart because if you participate in his channel, you're going to get free stuff, which is, that's creative. That's pretty cool. And it's entertaining. And that's it. So it's funny. He's crazy. He's a crazy guy. That's for sure. He has the right personality, the right environment. He just has all the right things to make a very incredibly successful YouTube channel. So congratulations to Cletus McFarland. He's a great guy. Yeah, do I wish I was younger and had that type of channel? Of course. That would be so much fun. Me getting in cars, having, I'm assuming he's out there in Texas. I'm not sure where he is. I don't really follow him a lot, but he's got all this open land. He's got this big-ass shop. He's out there at the racetracks. I mean, so it's good stuff if you want to have a laugh for the day instead of watching all the gloomer doomers. I mean, sincerely, I just don't get it. Why do you want to get up every morning, tune into the guy that tells you tomorrow what's going to be tomorrow when he's not even right? They're totally wrong. They really are. They're all wrong. I mean, the most misled. And that's what this one guy... Let me see if I can find who this guy is, because I just kind of feel bad. I'm sorry if I'm going to kind of delay everything here for you guys, but at the same time, I got to find this here just because of my friend send it to me, and I think he'd appreciate me doing that, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so here is Sandy. It's Sandy's. Okay, so Sandy is basically defending Elon Musk. This is a video, I would imagine, he's a good guy, he's a great guy. So it's Sandy Monroe. Let me see if I can...
Hey boys and girls, thanks for watching Monroe Live. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about what everybody seems to be talking about. It doesn't make any sense to me that everybody's so excited about this news about the charging systems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you my take, and it's going to be entirely different than everybody else's, because I actually ran businesses. I worked at the big OEMs. I worked everywhere. And you know what? When you have to make some hard decisions or some smart decisions for the investors, the people who own the companies, you wind up doing things that may be a little controversial. So today, I'm going to talk about business, not emotion. I'm not into emotion. I am not a celebrity. I don't believe in romance, gut feel, or any of that other shit. I'm only looking at what's going on right now. So let's talk about business, and let's say Ford, GM, Aptera, Rivian, and a whole bunch of other folks are now using that system. They're your customers. Do you need a marketing and sales team? Why? Why? To have them sitting around doing now?
Yeah, so anyway, so George sent me that because this gentleman here, Sandy, who's well known in the industry, he actually did an interview with Elon Musk with the, I believe, Elon Musk with the Tesla Cybertruck. So for George P., thanks for giving me that video. But more or less, he's just defending Elon Musk on running business the way business should be run. You know, that's all. The dynamics have changed, which I have a little different view on what Elon Musk is doing there, because I think he's trying to get monies to come from other participating parties to help continue the Tesla charging station network to be built out. Who knows? But you can go to Sandy's take on the Tesla layoffs. It's Monroe Live if you want to watch that video and see someone else's different views and ideas and perspectives. And he's pretty blunt about what's going on, which I like that. Great video. So thanks, George, for sending that to me. And so anyways, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up because it turns into very long videos, and I know all that. I get it. And it's just all about me wanting to share my enthusiasm, excitement, and views and ideas when I get out of bed each day to help you, get your day going and see what views and ideas pop in your head as well. And can we remember what I talked about yesterday, right? The secret conversations. So anyways, that's it. As always, share the channel and stay tuned for the yet another Honda adventure. What do you think I'm buying? Who here, what do you think? And my one subscribers just hammers the heck out of me to buy the Livewire and the other bike. What the hell is it called? Pan America. Yeah, we'll get to that at some point. Timing just isn't good on that right now. Yeah, possible. It's possible, play out, but it just isn't the right market right now for me to do that with Harley, because I have Harley-Davidson relationships, and I got to get rid of something to get that. So I know you're saying get the Pan America CVO, which I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to pick one of those up. I agree, but the challenge is I just have bought too many new Harley stuffs. It would have to be something that made sense to make it go down, but it just takes time for me to figure that out, which I'm always thinking about that and my secrets. So what do you think I'm buying? What do you think I'm going to buy at TimberCon today? The deal's already been done. All the paperwork's done. I just have to drive out there and pick it up. So what do you think? I'd love to hear others' comments and what they think that I just bought. So once again, have a great day. Stay tuned for more adventures. The pool adventure, for that's coming in today, putting that together, and the list goes on and on and on. Wow, yeah. Okay, have a great day. God bless.